All right, let's go for it then. So welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. So today's session is around the winter release for all of our products. And we're really excited. It's going to be a great session because we've got an awful lot to show you today. So before we kick off and get into it, if you haven't met us yet, let us present ourselves. We're the product team at Precursive. So myself, I'm Andy Mahood, I'm the CTO. We've got Kate and Matt. Can you both introduce yourselves for us?
Hi everyone, this is Kate speaking, and I'm the head of product at Precursive.
Hello, I'm Mateusz Wojtowicz, and I'm a product manager for Precursive.
Great, thanks. So today we're going to be talking about all of our core products and the whole platform. But before that, we want to share how we see some of the challenges that the new reality has brought us. So some of the challenges were here already before the pandemic, but this new reality has changed the importance of some of the areas in customer onboarding, implementation, and professional services worlds. Then we want to walk you through our new release and show you what we've been working on and how you can benefit from it. We'd also like to share our roadmap with you. Finally, we'll be around to answer any questions that might crop up, so feel free to drop them in the Zoom Q&A panel and we'll answer them at the end. So today, we'd like to share with you how we see the world in this new reality. So for many of us, times have become really tough. Operating in this new reality requires us to change the ways we approach our life and our work. We need to collaborate remotely with our teams, customers, and partners, while often taking care of our kids or family while still trying to be productive. In the world of customer onboarding, implementation, and professional services, which is also our world, a lot has changed and a lot of things have become uncertain. Those of us in recurring revenue businesses should feel incredibly fortunate, and we realize the importance of that recurring revenue. Customer retention has become even more significant than ever. And we've realized that you cannot retain your customer if you're not able to help them succeed, and you cannot grow with a high churn rate. We believe that delivering a seamless customer experience is key to success. And we believe that great tools that support people in their daily work have become crucial to enabling the seamless customer experience. So something that we've been talking about for a long time is time to value. This is something that I wrote about back in 2017 in a book called The Customer Onboarding Handbook. Everything that I wrote there 4 years ago is even more relevant today and outlines time to value as one of the key metrics for customer onboarding. What we're all coming to realize is that offering great technology or services isn't enough. You can only gain your customers' trust once you start delivering outcomes that bring them real value and help to achieve their business goals. So we see this, that we live in the era of outcomes. So as we recognize how you work, we want to reflect this and have defined our 3 core products around these needs. The first is the Precursive onboarding experience, which is all about building repeatable onboarding and project implementation playbooks, managing the work for each customer and project, and collaborating internally and also with your customer. So Precursive OBX lets you plan, schedule, and deliver success for each customer. Precursive resource capacity optimization gives you the view of your team's availability to plan and allocate resources, forecast capacity, and identify capacity crunches. Precursive RCO is focused on customers who are looking to plan and allocate their teams and forecast projects. Precursive professional services experience extends the capability of resource optimization, helping you to ensure that each project is successful and profitable. With PSX, you not only stay on top of your team's capacity and utilization, but also project budgets, cost, margin, and expenses for your professional services projects. PSX is focused on professional services businesses, where managing project financials and billing is essential. So together, these products make up the Precursive platform, which helps your teams to create a seamless journey for your customers to ensure your customers realize the value of your products and services quicker. You can start with one product and add others as your needs grow. The capability of the entire platform is essential to grow with us as your business grows. So to respond to all the challenges that we recognize in the world of onboarding, implementation, and professional services, we've defined our product themes. we do our best to ensure our products work together and leverage the power of the Salesforce platform. So this is what we mean by platform experience. The flexibility is also important here. We want to make sure that our customers are able to adjust the parts of our product to their own need. At the same time, we're moving beyond data and reporting to insights and recommendations. And we believe that our products need to help you in taking better decisions faster. So for OBX, we want to bring the customer closer to the overall experience. And we're already doing this today with external sharing and communities that let you engage your customers and share onboarding and project plans with them. But we have more ideas on how to improve how you work alongside your customers. As we bring the OBX experience closer to RCO and PSX, we want to provide you all with more power for managing larger, more complex projects. And we're continuing to innovate around this theme of powerful project management to ensure that OBX scales from repeatable processes through to transformational projects. And it's our belief that the power of Precursive overall will come from combining project execution with resource capacity management. And we think about this as actionable capacity. Now for us across RCO and PSX, our resource managers are our power users, and we want to make assignments for the team much faster. We recognize that many individual contributors experience PSX as just a timesheet. And we're working on and continuing to explore how we can make their interaction with PSX simple, easy, and fast. But more than that, we're challenging ourselves to see how we can surprise and delight them. And we're going to be touching on some of that later in the session today. We're also focused on providing the most valuable insights for the professional services teams, which includes aspects like productive time utilization and the ability to define billable projects, phases, and activities, which then feeds into billing in just a few clicks. So these themes may and likely will evolve, and we'll keep sharing our thinking with you as they do. So I'm now going to hand over to Matt to take you through what's new with OBX.
Thank you, Andy. Now let's review at things that we have been working on since the last release, as the winter release brings a lot of new features and improvements that perfectly aligns to our teams. Firstly, I will shortly describe them and then demo time. So the first feature that I'd like to introduce is milestones and milestone measures that let you define key dates in your process and measure the time between them. Precursive OBX will calculate the days between the milestone and a related date in Salesforce, like opportunity close date or another milestone. This lets you easily configure milestones for kickoff, first value, or any other milestone achievement. We will do the rest for you. We would calculate the working days and the average time of those achievements. You will only have to track the progress. This will help you to have a great overview of how your projects are progressing, but also allow you to see how you can improve those metrics. We are very excited about this because it's so easy. The team has nailed it, and we look forward for your feedback. The next feature is advanced component filters. Over the last year, we released a bunch of Lightning components that let you embed Precursive OBX boards and tasks throughout the Lightning experience. We had customers running many processes through Precursive, and they wanted to embed them into the account page and other places in Salesforce. We have given you more control of what you show and how you filter records. So now you can define filters and apply these filters to the boards and tasks components to create experiences exactly for the way your teams work. There is one feature that defines Precursive OBX, and it is templates. Every customer is using templates, and the idea of repeatable work is fundamental to what we do. We get feedback all the time that templates are really powerful and flexible, but we also hear that the initial setup and creating your first template can be a head-scratcher. That's a fair criticism, and we are over-optimizing for power and flexibility. To balance this, we have introduced a new type of template, simply called a board template, where you create a board, add your tasks, dependencies, subtasks, checklists, roles, and so on. Then simply turn it into a board template. Doing so, you also get the option to define a board type. It's never been easier to create a new repeatable process with Precursive OBX. To make changes to your board template, just find it and make your change. No downloading files or messing around in a spreadsheet. To make task templates even more powerful, we will now import them asynchronously by default. This means it may take a moment to import them. However, this now means you can see a history of all templates imported. You can remove a template if you made a mistake and needed to correct something and re-import. Creating a board is much faster, as you don't need to wait for all the processing of creating and scheduling tasks. This is helpful for those of you who create board through automation and import templates. In the past, this action may have taken a while all the magic was happening in the background. Now this will happen in a snap. So these were the most significant features in the winter release, but there are more improvements that we included in it. Keeping with the Lightning technology, we continue delivering new features in the Lightning experience. This time, we prepared a completely new page for Precursive templates, which allows you to create, upload, and activate your template in one go. Following our theme of flexibility, we have extended the functionality of having custom field set per board type. Now, the fields are added to the field sets will be also visible in the right side pane, so you can preview their values while navigating through your board. You cannot be productive when you spend hours on assigning licenses and permissions for your users, and we will do it for you. From now on, when you add a new user to the board, we will automatically assign a license and the standard permissions for them. And now let's dive in for some live demo of essential features from winter release. Firstly, template import history. To make it, you need to find a template import history on the right side pane and then import template that you are interested in. While importing, you can also select and unselect all the tasks you want, as you can see on the screen right now. And after a few seconds, template is processed and tasks appear on the board. It's processing and tasks appeared on the board. And this is that easy. The next feature is milestones. So we have two objects that describe a milestone. Milestone, which is essentially the what we want to measure, and milestone measure, which is basically how it will be measured. We are able to define a start date as a field like opportunity close date or any other milestone. You just need to go to milestone measure, and you are able to define if you would like to use start date field or start milestone as a point of time to reference for your milestone. Then, to link a milestone and calculate its progress on the project, we need to link this milestone with a task that is representing finishing point of specific achievement. So we need to go to a board, we need to find task that is representing and the time that some milestone is finished. For this particular case, we will use post-launch check-in, and we will link this one with milestone that is called first value. Then we need to save. And once it's saved, now we are able to track the progress of milestones related to a specific board using related tab. So we need to go to a board to find related tab, then scroll down for milestone progress. And as you can see, progress is calculated. If we need some wider context and to present this data for multiple projects or multiple board types or something like this, we just can simply use reports, and reports can be customized for your needs. So as you can see, this is an example of reports that represents a milestone progress and compared to milestone goals. The next thing is basically the thing that when you proved that some process is working for your team, you can use the same recipe for success by converting board to template or even making it as a board type. So we need to go for the right side pane, then provide the name. If in this particular case, it will be implementation template. We need to make it active. And if you want to make it a board type, we need to just provide the name, and after checkbox is clicked. And now we want to create a new board using the same template for a new customer. In this particular case, we will use example customer Just Join IT. We need to select a type implementation that we created seconds ago. If stages will be provided, then we will be able to manage them. Then we need to find account, select opportunity, if we need, of course, and then create this. As you can see, all the things related to previous board are moved, are imported. Also milestones, because this is also a part of these templates. So once this is created, we can also use it for next projects or next accounts. The next feature that we would like to introduce and show you right now is advanced filtering. So to make it, we just need to go to custom metadata type and find OBX filters. Manage records, yes. Click on a new. And then we need to provide label, that is display name. We need to provide filter name, which will be a unique value that is used across the system to identify this specific filter. We are able to select boards or tasks because we are able to provide filters for boards or tasks. We need to provide a type, which in this particular case will be SOQL, and then we need to provide SOQL condition expression that is used for this specific case. So we would like to filter for all boards that are in type implementation. So as you can see, after refreshing, we will be able to find this new filter available on the boards menu item. And this is one case, because the second case when using these filters is the case when you would like to embed this filter into some other pages, like in our case, account. So let's go to account that is called Just Join IT. Then we need to go to setup and edit page. Luckily, there are a few ways how you can go to this page. Then we need to find the tab and add, for example, tab that will be representing implementation projects. So custom label, implementation projects or implementations. To this tab, we need to drag and drop from the left side pane custom component, which is Precursive board list. And as you can see, by default, we are showing all the boards that are linked to this account. But once filter name is provided, we can see that it's limited by the filter that we created. And we can also change the name to better describe what's in there. Because Salesforce is powerful in this particular case, we can not only save it for the whole organization, but also we can save it for a specific group of people who are using basically the same view. And that would be it. And now we would like to ask you, which of those features are you the most excited about? So please use the poll feature to answer if these are milestone and milestone measures, advanced components filters, or improvements to template templates import. Thank you for the answers, and over to Kate.
Let's just have a look at the results of the polling. So you can see most of you replied that milestone and milestone measures are is the feature that actually is making you the most excited about, and we are very, very happy about it. Okay, so let's move on. Now I would like to have a look with you on what's new in Precursive PSX this winter. And in the last couple of weeks, we've been focusing our efforts on a couple of items. The first one is time codes, a great way to define what parts of your projects are billable or not. Next one is the configurable My Precursive page, which can be adjusted accordingly to your team's needs. Then the holiday component, which will show you when is your next holiday and what are your remaining days off. Also, an expense component that will help you to see the expenses that requires your attention, and the approvals that will reduce the admin time you need to spend on approving stuff. So let's go into the details. And let's start with time codes. So time codes let you define what's billable on your project. Now you can do it not only on the project level, but also define which phase or activity should be billable or not. Also, time codes can be configured in a way that you can decide whether the time associated with them should contribute to revenue, costs, or time in the project budget. This will allow utilization and budget calculations to be more precise. The next big change is what I would like to show you. It's the new My Precursive page. So My Precursive isn't just a timesheet page anymore. We have transformed it into a configurable page, so you can now adjust it accordingly to your needs. At the same time, we have built a variety of components for My Precursive that should make your life a little bit easier. So now you'll have everything in one place, and you don't have to navigate through a couple of pages to log your time, add expenses, request holidays, or approve some items. The components we've built can be reused in other pages as well. And if you'd like to reorganize My Precursive for your team or add some other components to it, all you need to do is use the out-of-the-box lighting up builder. So as I already mentioned, while working on the new My Precursive page, we have prepared a number of components to support your team in their daily work, but also deliver a much nicer experience. Now from My Precursive, you can access the holidays component where you can submit your holiday request and track your remaining holiday allowance. We believe taking days off and the well-being of each team is very important. Another component that you can start using with the winter release is the one for expenses. Add, submit, and review your expenses in one go. To make the timesheet reusable in other pages as well, we have transformed it into a component and have improved its design to make it clearer and easier to use. We hope you will enjoy it, how fast it becomes. If you're an approver, you'll love this one. Approving timesheets, expenses, and holidays isn't considered a pleasant job. However, it has to be done. We heard from you that what's been bothering you with this process, and we have created a completely new page and a completely new component for approvals. This will allow you to preview each of the requests without having to open their details. And what's probably more important, this will allow you to bulk approve and reject approval requests. So now let's dive in. Let's start with time codes. What used to be called project type in the past has now been migrated to time codes. Once you get this new release in your org, you will notice two time codes already created in the time codes tab. One for billable and the other one for non-billable work. By default, they contribute to revenue, time, and costs. Here you also have a setting for defining whether the time code is billable or not. You can actually create multiple time codes to define how the time is associated to a project phase and activity and how it should be treated by the system. For example, you can create a completely new time code for pre-sales. Don't mark it as a billable one. Not mark it as contributing to revenue, but mark it to contribute to cost and time. And once you save it, it will appear on the list of time codes. And all you have to do now is to go to the project page and assign this time code to the place that you want to make it non-billable. In this case, maybe let's assign the billable code to the project. Here is this project. And let's assign now the pre-sales time code to the activity that I created for pre-sales work on this phase. So let's now save it. So this will exclude the time recorded against this pre-sales activity from your billable utilization, but also if it's marked to be excluded from revenue, this time will not be taken into consideration in the revenue, in the budget information tab. And this is how you'll see your forecast billable utilization in reports with a more precise calculations. Now let's navigate to my Precursive. So the new page, which can be configured using the Lighting Up Builder. Here you can see, for example, the timesheet component. When we refresh the page, we'll see the time codes that we assign to the activity. Here you can see it. On the right-hand side, we have the approvals component, which is divided into three little tabs, where approval requests are grouped by their type, so whether it's a timesheet, an expense, or holidays. Those requests are sorted by the date they were submitted, so you always see the oldest at the top. And when you hover over one of the approval requests, you will see the details, so you already know if you can approve it or not. You can see the actual unplanned hours here. If you want to see the details of a timesheet per day, you can always click on view to see the whole timesheet. But now let's bulk approve or reject those approval requests from here. So to make it, we just need to tick those checkboxes when we preview the approval requests and just confirm it with the approve button. Now, if you want to see the approval details on a bigger screen and see also the details of the timesheet per day, you can always click on View My Approval Request, and that will redirect you to the new approvals page. So you'll see the same view as you could see on the component, but here additionally you can expand each of the timesheets to see, for example, the comments added by your team and also each day of the timesheet. Here you can also approve and reject in a bulk and filter by the resource name. But let's get back to my Precursive because there is more to it. So as we scroll down, we can see also the expense component. And here by default, we can see all the expenses that requires our attention. So the ones that are not yet submitted. If we untick this checkbox at the top, we'll see all the expenses added in the current month. If we want to see some older ones, we just click on the calendar and we can select January. We can also navigate through the months using those arrows. Here, if we scroll down, we can see the warnings, how many unsubmitted expenses are still here in this view. And we can, of course, add new expenses as you could add previously from the expense tab. Here, additionally, you can save and submit in one go. So let's move on to the holidays component. And here we can see, first of all, the upcoming holidays. So all the holidays that are planned in the future. But also we can see the remaining holiday allowance. From here, you can also submit new holiday requests. Just selecting a holiday, some hours and dates. And the same here, you can save and submit in one go your holiday request. If you don't use holiday requests, the new request button and the upcoming holidays won't be visible here, but you still will be able to see how many days you used versus the remaining allowance. At the top of the page, you can see the header that includes a welcome message that can be modified. But also what it's even more important, especially for managers and admins, as when you switch to another person in this resource search, like I will change, let's say, to Melinda. The timesheet expense and holidays component will basically filter the data to show exactly Melinda's timesheet expenses and holidays. So that's a nice overview to see of what's the time your team has logged or have added new holidays in the future. And as I said, this can be configured, this page can be configured. So feel free to adjust it using the edit page functionality. So the Lightning App Builder. And now I would like to ask you a question. Which of those new PSX features is the most, are you the most excited about? So let's see. Okay, I'll share the results with you. I hope you see it. So looks like the approvals are the ones that won, which makes me happy a lot because I also like it a lot. Cool. So just to summarize a little bit what we talked about today, as we described at the beginning of this webinar, how we see the current challenges of the onboarding, implementation, and professional services team, we also recognize how people usually try to cope with them. And when times become tough and there's a huge amount of work to do, it's very difficult to remain focused on what's important. What actually happens is that instead of focusing on the outcomes, we spend a lot of time on processes that are very manual and keep us really busy. We're chasing our own tail, but what our customers really need to see is the outcome. So this is what's really valuable from their perspective. If we don't have the right tools that support us in our daily work, and if we cannot adjust those tools to follow our organizational processes, then we finish with lots of spreadsheets. And as you know, spreadsheets become out of date once you save them. If we don't manage to stop this chaos at some point, we keep trying to collect the correct data to update our customers on the progress of the project. We spend hours on the admin, or we try to figure out what's been already approved or unsubmitted yet, and what needs to be billed to the customer. And let's be honest, all this leads to team burnout. And also, this is why at Precursive, we are focusing our efforts on helping people to move to a more modern approach where system automations and insights are playing a leading role. And this is how we see it. We believe that delivering value to our customer is the key to success. This is how we do it, and we encourage you to take the same mindset. Automations like our repeatable playbooks support teams in the way they deliver great outcomes. We'll keep improving our products in this area to help you achieve your business goals with less effort. We want to give you as much flexibility in our tools as it's possible, so that you can focus on what's really important. We all need to evolve from the world of data into a new world of insights, where systems are really helping us to take decisions and reduce the time we spend on the admin. This is how we believe we can keep our teams healthier and focused. So just to recap on what great features we are giving you in this winter update. So from OBX, this will be milestones and measures, advanced filtering, board templates, and import templates. And from PSX, this is time codes, configurable My Precursive, holidays, expenses, and approvals. So this release will be available from tomorrow, and you'll receive more details about it in our release notes.
Let's now have a look at what's coming next for OBX. We are planning another release still in Q1, where we want to give you following enhancements. Board insights show the possibility to log risks, issues as they happen, and identify the impact and probability. This will allow you to record the desired outcomes that you are planning to achieve. Next, we want to enable updating health scores on your boards. This will allow you to track how the sentiment on the project was evolving, but also show you what should be the next steps to take to improve this score. We also want to give you the possibility to export your plan view into a spreadsheet in case you need to share it with your customer, but not necessarily want to use the external sharing or communities. Another huge feature that we are working on is a community add-on that will automate setting up a community, but also provide some great default layouts and new components that could be helpful in your collaboration with your customers. Q2 shall bring more focus on the advanced project management features, like having multiple dependencies on tasks, the work breakdown structure, notifications for contact roles, which will allow you to notify your customer when a task has been assigned to them. Revenue influence will help you identify how your onboarding influences yearly upsell, cross-sell, and renewal rates. The capacity overview, time off, and holidays will help you identify the capacity of your project team and schedule tasks based on real people's availability, and this will improve how PSX and OBX works as a platform. Thank you, and over to Kate.
On PSX, we are currently focusing our efforts on improvements around accessibility of budget fields for participant and project budgets, as well as on the billing functionality, which will allow you to filter data needed to create the invoice based on the project phase, time range, but also status. When integrated with an accounting system, billing will give you the full visibility of what has been invoiced and paid. We're also working on the forecast demand reporting, which will enable you to see the upcoming demand based on the future resource requests and the exact dates and time they have been scheduled. This is a great example of insight for resource managers that will inform their daily decisions. In Q2, we are planning to focus on the way people are assigned to projects by making the possibility to look for the right resources based on their skills. And what's more important, we'll give you insights who's the best person to assign to a request, as we are looking to implement a solution that will recommend who meets the criteria, not only in context of the role and skills, but also in context of availability. To make it even more powerful, we want to enable assigning multiple requests at once. We are going to look also at how updates to resource details are made to make it more intuitive and flexible, but also recognizing that not all the non-billable time is equal, like pre-sales. We want to extend the time codes functionality to include the concept of productive time. So that was an overview of our roadmaps for the next 6 months. So now over to you for questions. Let's check if there are any questions in the QA. There's a question if you can add a tab in the approval component. This is not possible yet, but one of our plans is to also add a tab for other approval requests. So also other approval requests built on Salesforce will be available in our approvals as well. So this is something that will be delivered later on in the year. Are there any other questions? Let's check. There's a question. What can be defined as a milestone and what can we track with it? Matt, maybe you would like to answer that one?
Yeah, I can. So basically, our milestone feature is built in that way that will allow you to track all the things, all the measures that can be tracked with help of tasks. So if you can imagine any of your metric that can be linked with a task, that finish date or end, that completed date or end date can be used for tracking this progress, then that's the answer. So basically everything that you can think of in terms of linking this milestone with a task.
Okay, thank you. There is one more. When we update to this new release, do we need to configure the time codes and what are the steps to do it? So I can take this one. So basically our post install will update first of all your permission sets with the access to time codes for the super users, but also the layouts and the post install script will also create the new time codes and migrate your projects from the old type field to the new time code lookup field. So basically everything will be done during the update. You don't have to worry about it at all. Okay, there's another. Okay, there's a new question. We are using a custom object for holidays, lot of country specificities. Is the new approval component can be used in this case? Not really, because it's directly linked to our object for holiday requests. So you can see how it works. Basically, test it in your sandbox if you don't use it yet, and if you feel like it will fit into your business process, you can start using ours, or wait for this this new functionality with the others approval request that we are planning to implement later this year. And then you can, if you have an approval process for your custom object, you will be able to use it also in our component. But we'll keep you updated about the timeline when this one will be delivered. Let's see, do we have any other questions? Okay, we have a question. Could we add a dashboard to my Precursive? Yes, the answer is yes. Basically, any standard Salesforce component, dashboard component, or for example, for those of you who use the whole platform, so OBX and PSX together, you can, for example, add also the task or board list components to my Precursive as well, with the advanced filter to basically look for the currently logged user, for example, and the owner of the tasks and boards. So that's an idea how you can use it.
There are two new questions, Kate, and I guess that you can pick them. First one is any changes to Precursive plan?
Could you? I can't find this question. Sorry,
It's
because
it's on the chat, not on the Q&A.
Ah, okay, cool.
And the second is on Q&A.
Yeah, so at the moment there are no changes to Precursive plan, but we are soon starting to work on that. So what I mentioned on what is on the roadmap, we'll have this new functionality to be able to add skills to resource requests, search for people that match those skill sets, but also at the same time, we'll be looking for the best person that matches also the criteria of availability. Cool. Another question. Where can we use the advanced filters? And is it only on the account page? Matt, would you like to answer this one?
Yeah, so basically advanced filters can be used with all objects that have link, basically relationship built with our boards or tasks. So because we need this relationship to use our custom components like boards list or task list. So you can imagine using that, for example, for opportunity to find all related tasks or projects with specific opportunity as an example. So that's another use case. We have
Cool.
also one question in Q&A. Will it be possible to have different capacity on Precursive plan based on booking confirmed, booking forecast, and confirmed?
Yeah, let me check this one. I'm not sure I understand this question. Could you specify exactly what do you mean by having different capacity for the different statuses? Is it like different capacity rows showing the percentage? I assume that can be it, right? So at this moment, we don't have anything like that in plans, but yeah, looks like an idea. So thank you for that. For sure, we'll record that in our ideas and look into it when we'll be working on improvements to my Precursive plan. So thank you. I also see there is another idea for having an attachment as required when submitting an expense. Also, thank you a lot for that. We'll also record that. Are there any other questions?
Or ideas?
Always open to that. There's another question, Matt. What happens when we delete a template from a board that we are already working on?
So basically all the tasks that we imported will be removed as long as they were not, let me say, started. So if you started working on some tasks and you move them to another list, then it means that you did something intentionally. And while removing the template, you will be informed that this specific task or set of tasks won't be deleted. So that's the way how we built this feature.
Okay, thank you. There's another question if there is a plan to introduce in Precursive, if a project end date changes, a button that can be selected to change the end dates of all phases. So currently, the only possibility is when the end date changes, so it is earlier. There is a button for shortening the phases, the whole project and phases. But yeah, at this moment, we don't have this functionality yet. So thank you for this idea. And we'll record that and come back to that later. Let me check if there is any other question. Let's give maybe a couple of seconds. Maybe someone want to ask something. Still, if no, we have also some news to reveal at the end. Okay, so I think let's move to the last part because we would like to share with you some great news. So from now on, you'll be able to use our new knowledge base. So if you would like to find any answers to your questions, you can always reach out to our precursive.force.com page and see our knowledge base, which is now combined for all the products, OBX and PSX. From there, you can also contact our support. And we'll create more content there, and you'll have it more up to date from now on. So feel free to go and reach out to us with some questions. And yeah, I would like to thank you all for attending the webinar. If there will be any more questions after this webinar, feel free to reach out to us, and hopefully see you soon on our next product release webinar. Thank you, everyone.